In my continuing journey of playing every single game about cleaning things up in a fantasy world instead of actually cleaning things up in reality world, I've stumbled onto yet another adventure. Hot on the heels of Power Washer Simulator 2 giving you the power of water to defeat the forces of dirt, Leaf Blower Company lets you become an airbender to bring down that evil fall foliage ruining our lovely neighborhoods. Dive into the role of this lady who starts a yard cleanup company from her perpetually open garage where you'll keep track and photographic evidence of every job you do on a giant corkboard. But before you head out, you can take a moment to practice your trade in your own yard, blowing leaves into the general vicinity of a garbage can to vanquish them from existence while paying yourself some money and earning some coveted experience points in the process. You'll also earn similar benefits from picking up all the random things that someone violently kicked over in your backyard, like these chairs and your grill. However, when you do take on your first jobs out in the real world, things are a bit more complicated. You'll find leaves in a wider variety of sometimes incredibly annoying places, and they'll even occasionally be soaked in rain or buried in the snow, which adds the extra shittiness of weight to those leaves, making your blowing machine kinda suck. But thankfully, you're not only relegated to a leaf blower for your work, you'll soon unlock a leaf sucker with the shredder, which vacuums up the leaves without the challenge of unpredictable air physics and lets you leisurely deposit them in the nearest trash can for collection. And once those trash cans are full, they'll catapult a bag of compressed leaves out into the world for you to free throw into a central bin for a tiny amount of additional experience points. That's not the end of your tool assortment though, as you'll also obtain a weed burner that will add another layer of beauty to every yard you visit by charbroiling those pesky dandelions, any wayward leaves, or just whatever bushes you decide don't fit the decor with a sweet kiss of flame. You'll even eventually get an axe you can use to wildly swing and potentially connect with random logs on the ground to make them vanish into the ether when you've pummeled them enough times. And if you're truly a masochist, you can bust out the classic tool of the trade, a rake, and move those leaves with brute force rather than the electricity you'll need to recharge when you've sucked and blown for just a little too long. But the fallen products of trees aren't the only foes you'll be facing in this perpetual battle. You'll also have to deal with things like mountains of cardboard boxes, pool toys dislodged from their watery realm, and even piles of discarded cash in certain instances, all requiring you to blast them with just the right amount of air in the perfect direction to get them to their watery or fiery destination. Leaf Blower Company, giving us one more way to do the things we could already do, but with the infinite motivation of imaginary points and money. In concept, the idea of a game about leaf blowing has all of the hallmarks of a game that would easily rival Power Wash Simulator. It's a relatively mundane and simple activity that has an immediate visible impact on an environment that you can watch progress from moment to moment, just like scrubbing the dirt and grime from a wall. They've even done a pretty great job with the visual quality of blasting those leaves around, even if it's a pretty significant effect on performance. However, there's just something about that doesn't quite work. It's hard to say exactly what it is. Perhaps it's the inconsistent feel of the leaf physics and maybe the frustration of knocking them in the corners you have to drag them out of with a rake. Or maybe it's the lack of variety in the overall process, since even when you're given the opportunity to blow other stuff around, it's practically the same experience. But I think part of the problem is when they give you the shredder, it feels like using anything else is just adding work to the process. Sure, it can definitely be slower, but it completely erases the annoyance of chasing down leaves you blow in the wrong direction or walking back and forth trying to pile them up for a small but mostly meaningless bonus you get for collecting a large amount at once. And with the general gameplay kind of wearing thin so quickly, there's not much of a metagame that changes that. The upgrades you can buy aren't particularly distinct or impactful, and the strange little mall you can visit to get them only offers a few other stores for the various cosmetics that you mostly only see in the third-person view, a view that seemingly only exists to let you see those colorful clothes and strange animations. Leaf Blower Company isn't a particularly long game, especially for the main campaign missions, and that's probably a good thing considering its limited offerings. However, it still takes about that long to feel like the interesting parts of the game have run their course. There are some little secrets you can discover throughout each map for bonuses, and revisiting previous areas might give you a bit of a new experience with the weather modifiers. And there's even a dynamic day-night cycle that might leave you finishing up a job in pitch black until you realize there's a headlamp button. But none of that is enough to take this game above the abbreviated score of OK. And if you'd like to see more hot takes, warm satire, and tepid commentary about video games, like this video, clean up mega supporter Adam Lutke's front yard, and check out more Abbreviated Reviews.